interesting to know at what moment a guy categorise you in the casual dating or if he's going to move it forward to anything. So at what point?
What point does a guy... Okay. It's a few things. So if he hasn't categorized you just from initial, because guys can, depending on what kind of girl a guy likes, like guys have a type of woman they want to be with for a relationship. And just because that's the woman he wants to be in a relationship with, there are other women outside of that he'd like, I'd have casual fun with.
Yeah.
So there can be a case of where maybe he meets a woman and it's like, oh, I wouldn't have a relationship with her, but if she was down for having fun, I'd have fun with her. So that could be like an initial thing. And the reason maybe she would go into that is because maybe he has a type and maybe that's not his type, or maybe it might be something that he just feels they're not compatible because, the kind of future relationship he has or wants is different to hers, but there's still an attraction there. But if we've just started dating, it can be in a sense of, if I'm being completely honest with you, it's not just one thing. There can be like multiple factors. So like the first factor is usually like how soon does a woman sleep with him?
Yeah.
And it's not always the case that, if a woman sleeps with him straight away, then he's not open to it. But I think rightfully or wrongfully so, a lot of time it can make a guy think, this is what she usually does. And most guys don't want that quality in a girlfriend. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Just a woman who just kind of, she's like, I only share my body with somebody who I like and I care about, as opposed to just because I'm feeling it in the moment. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I said, that's not always a deal breaker for guys, but sometimes it can be a contributing factor. The other thing though can be, and this isn't something that I think sometimes girls can do about, but sometimes we meet people and it's like, I find her really attractive. You go out and stuff and maybe you get on, but you're just like, personality wise, this isn't really what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
But then you can still have that night insane chemistry. Do you know what I mean? And so I think as long as everybody's open and honest about either what they're looking for or how they see this going and stuff like that, then, they make their own decisions. Do you know what I mean? What do you think? Does anything surprise you?
No, not really, because obviously there is that thing, like when you wait or don't wait. Yeah, it does play. And obviously a guy can judge that. I mean, I think anyway, if a girl's going to give them the green light, a guy usually is probably going to go for it anyway.
Oh, he won't say no.
No, and obviously there's a lot of options as well for everybody on like both sides. But that, I had another question which brought that in.
Yeah, go on.
Because that's the other thing about as well. Like after say you had a couple of like really good dates, say you did see him again, say something did happen, or you've had a little bit of interaction, or you did or didn't sleep with him, or you've had a kiss or something like that, or in a case where you got so drunk. Can't remember what's happened.
Zara, no.
I know. Can't remember what's happened, but they've asked you on a date again. But the question is as well, which would be like, after like you've got a few good dates and you're texting, you're communicating, there might be the odd phone call here and there. But then what keeps the in-between stage, like going from one way to the other? So like you've got from like going from the casual texts and things like that, you've had a couple of dates and then there might be some fizzling out, there might be some ghosting, and then also what else is there? And then what do guys probably look for in that in-between stage? So
when you say in-between stage, what does that mean? What is that in-between stage?
So you've had a few dates, and I think it's the non-commit stage.
Right.
So I think it's like when it's like, what do? Do you go on 5 or 6 dates? Do you go any more? Are you making yourself exclusive? Are you going to keep it as it is? Is it going to stale? You're always going to be like this? Do the texts become less because of the option situation? And then it's like, or are they keeping their options open for someone else to come along? And if someone else really amazes them and surprises them, that's going to stop where the ghosting starts and there. But if you've already got that rapport and you've done a couple of dates, you've got the thing, what keeps someone like really interested? Like
engaged with that person alone.
Yeah.
I think, well, if you are building that level of kind of emotional connection with them, do you know what I mean? You're going on dates, you're having a really nice time, you're spending like quality time together. It's not like you're just, he's coming over at 11 p.m. and then leaving, 9 a.m. the following morning. Do you know what I mean? Like you're actually like spending time together.
Yeah.
The more you're doing that, then the more you're going to be liking each other naturally. And especially if, if he's a guy and he is asking you out and he is kind of wanting to take you on dates and do have different experiences with you, then that shows that a guy is investing, which means that he does like you. Do you know what I mean? And I get it. It can be, you could go on a handful of dates over the course of like a month or two. And then, because you're not exclusive, maybe he could meet someone else.
Yeah.
But I think the more you're dating someone and liking them, I think the more naturally you both start to invest.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, so that'll put value on, I guess, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
And that'll
exactly.
make it a bit more.
Yeah. So I think it'd get to a point where he could meet another woman who's like really attractive, but it's kind of like, yeah, but I have a really good thing with Zara right now and I'm having a fun time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that he wouldn't sleep with that other woman if it came? Maybe he would. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Because he's technically not exclusive to anyone. But then that's just depending on, whether that's something you guys discuss about whether you're exclusive. And to the point of being exclusive, I think the best time to do it is kind of anywhere between 6 to kind of 12 weeks after you started having regular sex together.
Okay.
Because at that point as well,
you don't,
yeah, like I think it's like you're probably not open to being with anyone else, but you also want to set a standard moving forward for yourself and for him for this to continue. Do you know what I mean? And so that's the best time to have that conversation.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
When was the last time you had to have that conversation, that exclusive conversation?
God. So I've been single for, I think it's nearly 2 years now.
Okay.
I'm enjoying myself.
Hey, just enjoy your single life.
I love my time with the girls and it's nice. And I've always said, unless someone surprises me or is like I've got really good connection with or vibration with, like yes, I'm not. Yeah.
So
interested.
If you're not, is it that you're not in a space to like date seriously? You're just kind of enjoying yourself, or is it that?
I think I'm quite a realistic person, and I'm modern to the world. So I think it's very fast paced now. Everyone's got all these options. We've all got social media, we've got things. There's a lot of access for both men and women of people, and they can have whatever they want. But that does differentiate from a good person actually, because it will show if they're actually after someone for the looks or personality. And I've learned as well, and I've grown up quite a lot. Isn't always about the, I mean, they can obviously going to have some kind of attraction, but even if they're a little bit attractive or you've got that attraction and the personality is banging, then that now is better. That overrides anything than a really good looking guy.
So would you rather, let's say we're going to say out of 10, right? Would you rather a guy in looks, he's a 8 out of 10, but his personality is a 5, or a guy whose personality is an 8 out of 10, but his looks are a 5?
Personality now. Yes, it is. It is now. It never was. Obviously, the first initial attraction or the look or the double take is that, because you're going to have that. But this is why I've been single for so long now. But they're not great people, not always. Or they think they're so good that they've got enough options anyway. So, and the modern guy, they either don't commit or you've got to be like a supermodel. So if you've got someone who's got personality or got what's the phrase? Is it like they've lived? What is it? Life experience? Life experience. That's the word. I was looking for that word the other day and I couldn't for the life of me. Life experience. Yeah. If they've got that, then they know it needs more than that. And if you're going to have connection with someone, you've got to be unselfish. You can't just do the things that because that person likes the look of you.
Yeah. When you say otherwise you have to be a supermodel, is that something guys have like said, oh, she's not attractive enough for me? Or
no, I just think now, and where guys have got so much option and a lot of them are on social media and things, and obviously you can be clever with your posts and pictures and everything like that. And girls are very good looking and can always, they're the more, I think they're more attractive.
I agree.
Yeah.
That's why I only date women.
There we go. They're more attractive, what do you call it? Category. So they can go for the next thing. And if you've got someone that's used to dating apps and things like that, that doesn't help because you're swiping, always look for the next best thing. And I know that can be quite addictive for people. So they can always do that if they think she's okay, or they want the ego boost, or they want to show off to their mates in the group chat or anything like that. They're always going to look for the good-looking girl.
Yeah.
Whether that they haven't got a personality, it doesn't matter too much, I don't think, to a modern guy.
Yeah.
Unless they want to move it forward, or unless something more is going to happen.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I know it seems like, oh, guys just have an abundance of options, but actually most guys struggle. Most guys don't have many options. They really don't. Like, okay, let me ask you this. This is what I usually ask. Out of 50 guys who maybe approach you, like a bar, club, when you're out on the street, or slide into your DM, out of 50 random guys who approach you, how many of those guys do you look at and you go, oh, I like the look and vibe of you enough that I'd go on a date with you? Out of 50.
I don't. I do think there needs to be dialogue. There needs to be something.
Yeah, but I mean,
I used to. You'd be like that. Oh, okay, then do you want to go for a drink? And then going back.
Give a chance.
Now, definitely not.
But how many would you actually give a chance, even if it's just like talking to?
Oh, if it's talking to, if they messaged and they were my type.
But how many are your type though out of that 50 typically?
Oh. Probably 3.
Probably like less than 5.
That would be from looks if they've just approached you that way.
Yeah.
Oh, I suppose in real life. Yeah, well, that's it. Because unless you're... Well, I do think I'm a good judge of character and I've got good gut instinct.
Yeah.
So you can get that quite early on. But if you're like drinking or in a club or something like that and you're hazy, you're not going to know.
Yeah. So out of 50, you said 3, like less than 5, right?
Yeah.
Most women are like that. Out of 50 random guys that maybe would approach them either in their DMs, in a bar, in a club, it's about less than 5 that they would actually give a chance to. But the issue is the same 5 guys that you would give a chance are the same 5 guys that she gives a chance, same 5 guys your friend would give a chance, same 5 guys she would give a chance. So then it's actually only a very, very small pool of men, right, that are actually dating the majority of women, which is why it's like, how come none of these guys want to commit? They're just dating loads of these different women. And it's like, a lot of women don't realize they're all dating the same guys. The majority of guys struggle. So, you know, the guy was like, he's an 8 out of 10 in looks, but he's a 5 out of 10 in personality. That's the guy that most women will give a chance.
Yeah.
But the guy who's an 8 out of 10 in personality, but a 5 in looks, a lot of women just completely look over him.
Yeah.
And actually, the irony is a lot of the time, that's the guy who like is looking for something serious and does want to give you something more. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's interesting that I completely understand where you're like, you've got to this point where you're like, yeah, the guys who are just all about looks, actually, there's not a lot of quality and character there.
Yeah, there's not.
Do you know what I mean?
Hope you really enjoyed that clip. If you want to watch the full episode where that clip is from, then I want you to click right here where you can watch the full episode. And if you're ready to claim your man today, enroll in my program below, and I'll see you there. Wishing you an amazing day.